I met my bio mom after 23 years.
Could she hang?
Let's find out. I, male 23, was raised by a single father who passed away 3 years ago. When I was around 15, he sat me down and explained that my mom is alive, that I'm the result of a one-night stand during his college days in the U.S.
You didn't know she was alive?
For 15 years?
He was like, I know I told you your mom passed away in that horrific explosion.
In that horrific bicycle, that horrific bicycle factory incident.
But she's alive. What? Mama didn't pass away in that horrific bicycle explosion. I told my friends that happened.
So they stopped making the bicycles out of explosions after that. You never see those bicycles anymore. Anyway, he said my mom wanted to put me up for adoption, but he chose to take full custody and raise me on his own. And by the way, this comes from user Throwaway Como, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Keon.
And OP says, it's important to mention that my father was Italian and my mom is American.
It's very important.
Extremely important.
What kind of Italian?
Somebody touch my spaghetti.
We let Dad make the sauce.
Like,
That kind of Italian.
where is he from? Like,
Italy.
no.
Duh.
What part of Italy?
Chicago.
Chicago?
Nice. You got me there. Good job.
They met when he was studying in the States. I moved to the U.S. pursuing my master's degree in the same city where my mother lives, though we've never met, and as far as I know, she has no idea I'm here. Last week, I broke my hand and ended up in the ER. That's where I met her. It was strange and emotional, but I kept my cool and pretended not to know who she was. When she saw me, she looked shocked, but kept things professional, though I noticed her staring at me more than once. Wait a minute, you just broke your hand and she works at the hospital that you were taken to?
And you both knew it was the other person, but didn't say anything? She was like, hello, OP. Why are you here today?
You mean to tell me fate? Like, you broke your arm that day, she was working that shift that hour, and you guys intertwined by fate?
Yeah.
Fate has intervened.
You guys are pulling a nonchalant off about it, though.
You
That's
guys
crazy.
should just, say something.
Been like, are you, my mom? My mom is here?
Mommy?
It's one of those days.
One of those days.
So, I had to undergo surgery, and she checked on me before and after the operation. Everything was strictly doctor-patient interaction. Yesterday, my aunt, my dad's sister, called me, and she told me that my mom had reached out to her through Facebook explaining the entire encounter. She said my mom wanted to hug me and kiss me and stay by my side the whole time I was in the hospital, but when I didn't react to her, she assumed either I didn't recognize her or that I hated her. She begged my aunt to talk to me to convince me to give her one chance to explain. She wants to be a part of my life. She wants to meet her kids, and she wants her boy back. My aunt told her she wouldn't take sides. She said she'd talk to me and leave the decision entirely up to me. Being the good Christian woman she is, she encouraged me to give her the chance to explain. Honestly, the little boy inside me wants to meet her, to hug her, and finally have a mother in my life. But the man I've become feels anger and resentment.
Let the little boy out.
You gotta listen to the little boy in that context, my guy.
You gotta listen to the little boy. Listen to the little boy inside you.
The grown man is angry.
That's what it said.
The grown man version of you is angry because of what the little boy that you were lacked.
Mm-hmm.
And now that thing is, that person is here.
Yeah.
And you can maybe dip your toe in the pool.
Dip your toe in. You don't have to
knowing
have a
your mom.
relationship with her. You can just say, hey, what gives, mama? And then see where
say exactly that.
Hey, what gives, mama?
What gives,
and then
mama?
see where it goes from there.
And say it with an Elvis voice.
Hey.
Hey, mama.
What gives?
Hey, mama, what gives? I know this is my decision to make, but I haven't been able to sleep, and I would like to hear strangers' opinions. My mind keeps spinning. I imagine having a beautiful relationship with her and getting to know her kids, but I also feel jealous. They got to grow up with her, and I didn't. Any advice, please? And there are some top comments, but before we get into them, Sophia, Keon.
I think you should go meet her. I feel like the little boy wants to, and you gotta let that little boy have what he wants.
Yeah, let the little boy out.
Let him out.
Let that boy out. He's in there. Let him out.
Let him out. Let him free. I think you feel a lot of anger and resentment for very fair reasons because, your mom hasn't been in your life for 23 years. But I think you lost your dad and you want like some sort of parental figure in your life. And this is maybe an opportunity for that. But
Seems kind of like
go unguarded.
fate.
I'm sorry. If by chance fate was this like intertwined, I'm sorry. I'd be like, might as well just wing it. Might as well just like give it a chance.
She's gonna keep being your doctor. She could be your mom too.
She can kiss it now. Kiss the boo-boo.
So the doctor comes in and says, I can't operate on this patient. He's my son. How is that possible? You guys never heard that? The doctor was a woman.
I wasn't locked in. I was just.
That was such a funny joke.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to
really
figure out
upset.
again if he knew that his mom even worked in the medical field.
I don't even think
We don't have any of that information. The fact that
I need the context of like how
he
did you
didn't
know
his
your
mom was alive for 15 years. I doubt he knew that she worked in the medical field. Yeah. Anyway,
Did you just pull a Rodney Dangerfield joke
no, the mom doctor one.
about?
So
Say
the
it
doctor-
again for the people in the back.
The doctor walks in and says,
Top comments. In a Haze, one says, my husband is adopted. After she explained her situation at the time, we were thankful she made the choice that she did. It brought a lot of closure of the resentment he had been carrying his whole life. She is now an active part of our family. The Kaz says, I would recommend against trying to picture what it would be like. I think doing so is likely to set you up for disappointment. That's true because disappointment is the result of unmet expectations. The meeting can go one of nearly an infinite number of different ways, and your imagination can't possibly think of all of them. If you do decide to meet her, I suggest that you have a goal in mind for yourself. What do you want to get out of the meeting for yourself? Also, try to make the goal be something you have control over. For example, making the goal, she loves me, isn't a good goal since you have no control over that. A goal of something like, I want to hear what she has to say and then share how I've been feeling my whole life is something you can control. What she does as a reaction to this is outside of your control, but whether or not you tell her is within it.
that's a good comment. Very therapy speak comment right there.
Me agree.
I like it.
agree with
I like
comment. Lieutenant Mr. President says, my best advice would be listen to yourself first and foremost. Having strong feelings towards someone you've never really met is perfectly normal when it's a family member, and talking about all of your feelings, positive and negative, seems the best stance. Gino Flower says, adoptee here. I think it's really easy to assume things about our birth parents, and it's quite likely that even your bio dad didn't have the full story about her. I'm not saying she was perfect and that her story absolves her from all blame. I'm just saying that you don't know that yet. I met my bio mom, and it helped in a lot of ways, and made some other things more complicated, but I don't regret a single part of it. You get to make all the rules about any relationship going forward and establish whatever boundaries you need. If you decide to do it, and only you know if it's the best decision for you, and if it is, when, go in with an open mind. At the very least, you can get more info about who you are and where you came from. And there is an update from 70 days later.
70 days later,
It's oddly specific.
your arm's probably all better. And I'm going to do it one more time. Ready? A father and son.
All right.
This boy's my... You get... See? It's really funny. Okay. I think that you should go meet your mom.
The joke is that I didn't expect her to be a woman.
Well, I was a child at the time.
We're
and
letting
when
this joke
in the early
go
2000s,
away.
no one expected women to be doctors. I don't know why. That's why
I
it
don't
was.
know. I've
It's
seen
a
Meet the
riddle.
Fockers.
Okay. Anywho,
Ben Stiller's a nurse.
not a doctor.
Yeah, but
I'm
he's a
trying.
man.
Dakota won't let it go. I'm literally trying to
This is
talk
her
about
This
it.
is all her idea.
Unbelievable. So anyway, I think that you should go meet your mom. And that's my whole thought. Let's get into the update.
I think those comments were pretty succinct. First, I want to thank all of you. Your comments were really helpful, and a special thank you to everyone who advised me to forgive and meet her. I asked my aunt to arrange a meeting in a quiet, public place. The moment I met her, I felt like I would collapse. My emotions were everywhere. Deep down, I just wanted to hug her and cry, but I kept my cool. She looked nervous and holding back tears. After some small talk, I finally asked, why didn't you want me? Why didn't you ever reach out? And why are you doing it now? I told her that even though my dad gave me a beautiful life, I always felt something was missing. I grew up believing my mom had passed away, and finding out she was alive filled me with anger and confusion. Anger and confusion you should have levied at your father for, I don't know, lying to you about that your whole life.
don't think-
Again, it was from a certain point of view.
I also don't think that OP is saying that I was angry and confused at you. He just said it filled me with anger and confusion.
Yeah, but I would be,
He's like
again,
15.
anyone out there
Yeah.
with, don't lie to your child
I agree.
about their parents being not alive.
He pulled the Obi-Wan telling Luke Skywalker that Darth Vader ended his father's life.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
but this guy's mom's not Darth Vader.
Maybe,
don't know that.
maybe when she tried to
You
give up for
don't know
adoption.
that. Darth Vader was a woman.
Since then, I pushed myself to be the best at everything. Maybe to prove it wasn't my fault, she abandoned me. She broke down and told me her story. She had been the golden child with her whole future planned, and getting pregnant destroyed her world. She couldn't face her parents, and since she barely knew my dad, she chose adoption. But when she told him, he said he couldn't let a stranger raise me, so he took me. She buried herself in school, convincing herself that when she becomes successful, she'd come back. But she had always postponed it until she believed it was too late. She followed my life through family posts, and when she had another child, the guilt consumed her. She finally told her family and reached out to my dad, but he told her I believed she was passed away. And after I know she's alive, I didn't want contact. That broke her, but she respected it. Still, she never stopped checking on me. Seeing me at the hospital was unbearable. She knew I recognized her, even as I pretended not to. And that was the moment she realized she couldn't stay silent anymore. When she finished talking, I just sat there. I didn't even know what to say. I felt lighter. Now I knew the truth. She didn't expect forgiveness, but she wanted me to know she was here if I ever wanted her in my life. She just wanted a chance. I wanted to leave, but I told her I wanted that chance. I wanted to get to know her, but at my own pace. I also said I'd like to keep these meetings just between us for now. She agreed right away. No pressure, just whenever I'm ready. After that day, we started texting, just simple check-ins. Then we met once or twice a week. Slowly, I told her about my childhood and my life now, and she shared her side too, her family, her siblings, her daughters. It felt strange at the beginning, but slowly it became easier. And by the way, the easiest thing you could ever do is listening to full episodes with stories like this one on your favorite podcast platform, wherever that might be, Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. You can listen to the full archive of stories we got waiting for you there. There's a little bit more story left.
There sure is.
How do we feel, everybody?
This feels
How
great.
are we feeling?
I'm
good.
I mean, OP must have so many mixed feelings about his dad, who has passed away and clearly was obviously very important in his life because he was his dad and the only parent that he had. But to find out that your mom wanted to be in your life, but then kind of step back because his dad said no, like, OP doesn't know that you exist, would be pretty devastating.
Yeah, I think probably not the best move on the dad's part.
No, I don't think so at all. But obviously, mixed feelings because this guy's passed away. So I can't imagine how OP, is dealing with that. I love that he and his mom are having this chance to reconnect. But yeah, very, very tough.
But hey,
don't lie to your kids about their parents being alive or not. It's not helpful for them.
that's right. So let's finish this story. 2 weeks ago, I went to her house for the first time. I met her family, and her husband was very welcoming, and her daughters were lovely and excited to meet me. It felt a bit strange at first, but also warm in a way I didn't expect. And today, she told me that her parents want to meet me. They're inviting me this Sunday to their house so I can meet them and the rest of the family. Even though I don't fully feel like a family member yet, I still feel some anger and jealousy, especially when I see her with her kids. But I'm glad for everything that has happened so far. I just hope it keeps getting better from here. And there's some more comments. Spokeswoman says, her kids are your half-siblings. They might feel anger and jealousy too. You're not the only one with feelings. I hope you'll try to embrace your new family eventually. Slowly is fine. Try to let this expand your heart. And who couldn't use another set of grandparents? OP replies, I know they are my siblings, and I like them. They are lovely, and they seem excited and happy to know me. The anger and jealousy are my own feelings that I'm dealing with myself and trying to let go of. Of course, I'm not showing my siblings these feelings or making them feel bad. And that's the end of that story. Gotta love capping it off with just a comment being unnecessarily aggressive.
Yeah, like, why are you feeling bad?
Comment.
Why do you feel angry and bad? You shouldn't do that.
No, it was just like, her kids. You mean your half-siblings? It's like,
They're
yeah,
your siblings.
I know. But it's also like, they're her kids. and my half-siblings.
OP's just going through a lot of emotions,
Yeah.
very rightfully so, and is handling it a lot better than most people would. So
Probably
I
better
think
than
you're-
that commenter would have.
Yeah, I think
But
you're
hey.
doing. I think you're doing it, OP.
That's the end of that story, and I
You're
like
doing okay.
I like that.
Yeah, me
I like
too.
where we're at.
Me too.
Take it slow.
Take it slow.
That's all I got to say about that.
I agree.
I'm not the expert. I'm just
Agreed.
I'm just a primate.
But that's the end of that story. I'm done being my sister's savior.
All right. Jesus.
My sister, 39 female, came into my life when I, 40 female, was a kid. She was a distantly related cousin that I was vaguely aware of by name but had never met. I didn't know it at the time, but her parents were difficult and controlling. By the way, this comes from Sister Go Bye Bye. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
And OP says, we were pretty inseparable. I was an only child, pudgy, quiet, and introverted, and she was the center of attention with athletics and jokes. Even now, she's still hilarious to be around. Everyone around us commented that we were separated at birth. I won't get into what led to her adoption because it's highly identifying. Let's just say her parents were problematic and it left some baggage. At one point, her biological father even took her without permission from a public place, though it was short-lived because he realized the legal consequences. We had a lot of good times and a lot of rough times. She eventually ran away when she was near adulthood and we lost touch. I had moved across the country for college, and one day I got a phone call, and it was her. She was crying and in a difficult relationship situation. I dropped what I was doing and flew across the country to get her. I wasn't well off, but I had some savings that I used to set her up in a new place and helped her get a job. She immediately got a new boyfriend and remarried.
Very thank you next.
Whoa! The pattern repeated, except with babies involved now. Her relationships kept failing due to infidelity. I helped her again. This time I was living alone with my first nice house. It was small, but I moved her and her 3 kids in. She started going out frequently. I was helping with her kids and working. Finally, I told her she needed to get therapy. I'd pay for it. She agreed and met a nice guy there. They got married. Baby number 4 and 5 happened. They were poor but happy, and I was glad for her. They made it through college, and things had just started looking up. Then there was a tragedy that took her husband, mine, and one of her children. It was a really dark time. Her husband, yours, and one of their children? Oh.
Just makes you think like, well, it can always be worse.
Oh, that's awful. She started going out again, met a new man. The pattern repeated with more relationship problems and instability. Our family was frustrated with her for moving on so quickly and exposing her kids to this instability.
Did anybody be like, you need to go to therapy?
I mean,
You should maybe try therapy?
clearly, like, she's traumatized and going through this very, very difficult time after losing a child and her husband. You know, I do think that there's a little bit of grace to be given. This isn't just like how it was before where she was going to, you know, terrible partner to terrible partner. She just went through a traumatic experience and is now responding to that. So it is a little bit of a different situation. I offered to pay for therapy again. She went but quit midway through because she was moving on to a new man again. We did this repeatedly. Reddit, I can't tell you how many times I've helped her and my nieces and nephews. They're all struggling. I pay for therapy for them. Our parents are deceased now, and most of our family won't deal with her anymore. The breaking point. She was struggling financially. I offered to help her one more time because they were going to be homeless. I had just bought a new home and hadn't sold my old one. I let her live in it rent-free so she could regroup. Got her a new job, paid for more therapy for her. I've never stopped for the kids. I only asked that she make repairs and not move in any men, and if that was too much, I'd let her live there long enough for her to regroup and move out. She, of course, moved some guy in. I started getting calls from my old neighbors complaining about loud arguments. I don't live in her area anymore, so I was trying to deal with all of this at a distance. She called me upset one day because she and her boyfriend had gotten into serious trouble and they were both facing legal consequences. I took off work, came and got all her kids. I had them for a year while she sorted things out. When she was granted her children back, I found out she was still with the same problematic boyfriend, but claimed it was okay because they were in counseling. They had damaged my house significantly with arguments, pets, and poor maintenance. I finally said that I couldn't do this anymore. I know she's struggling and I love her despite everything, but she's never going to be able to repay the repairs. I told her I felt used and disrespected, and she told me I was making her unfortunate life about me and that I wasn't giving her a fair chance. You have given her more than enough. You've given her way more than most people, including your family, have given her. You don't have to give her anything else.
What was that line about? She said, "You're making my unfair life about you." That's what she said?
Yeah.
Everyone's life is unfair to certain degrees.
Well, unfortunate life. Yeah.
Unfortunate. Everyone's got unfortunate events. This person had a lot. But then
so
weaponizing
did OP.
weaponizing it against the person who's helping you more than anyone else on earth.
And also, OP lost her partner in that same incident.
Yeah.
So to say, like, you're not caring about my life when OP's been through a lot of hardship and still helped.
Yeah.
It
just sounds like ultimate victim mentality.
Yeah.
It's like, actually, I'm the only one allowed to be a victim.
Yeah. I had to legally evict the boyfriend because he became threatening towards me while I was there trying to assess damage and also behaved inappropriately. She opted to leave with him and is telling everyone who will listen that I threw her and her kids out. I'm just tired. In the past 2 years alone, I've spent $10K on her problems, not including the countless hours of work and just plain worry. I'm worried for the kids, but I have my own family now, and the weight of both is overwhelming me. My sister is a wonderful person despite how I've painted her. I could call her right now, even though we've exchanged some harsh words, and she'd be at my door. She volunteers. My spouse says she's only great on the outside because she needs that goodwill to keep people helping her. And now I'm wondering if he's right. She's told me she's jealous of my stability and that's why she acts out towards me sometimes. But I didn't just luck into a decent life. I've worked hard for it and I've always been willing to share with her. She doesn't know it, but as soon as I have my keys to my house back, I'm cutting her off. I just feel bad because I'm the last family she has. Am I being unreasonable? I feel like I'm abandoning someone who still has a chance to turn things around. And there are some comments and I think an update. But do you have any thoughts?
I mean, there comes a point where in the process of wanting to help somebody, you've kind of done all that you can do.
Well, they start dragging you under.
Right. And then not only any further, it just becomes like kind of an enabling of this continued bad behavior. And then also, yeah, like exactly what you said, you're risking now your own well-being.
Yeah.
And it's, Jillian C in the comments puts it very well. You can't help someone who won't help themselves.
Yeah. She's stuck in this cycle. And, it makes sense because she's been through a lot, but there's not much else you can do to help her.
Maybe try, I don't know if you've done group therapy with her, because it's like there's certainly one thing that will never help in therapy, and it's lying.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, when therapy, there's people who just talk therapy just doesn't help as much sometimes, whatever. But it's like, if you're just actively lying about stuff to your therapist, it'll never actually help you. And so maybe if you guys go together, you can have more of an ability to be like, well, here's how I saw that situation.
Yeah.
If you were, but I don't even know how connected you guys are because
if he wants to
you're not really living with her. She's living in the house that you own, but you're not really there. So
I do worry about the kids, though. Hope they're okay. But there are some comments. Comment 1, it's not your responsibility to fix her, especially if she's not willing to fix herself. OP says, you see, I know this, but it's hard watching a loved one tank, which is why I don't plan to watch it this time. Deleting Facebook, blocking numbers. Reply says, you are a big part of the problem. You are enabling her bad behavior, and she's never going to learn unless you tell her no. Also, your spouse is absolutely right. She does exactly enough and acts just the right way to get people to do what she wants. She's manipulating you. It's more or less a survival skill and coping strategy left over from when she was being mistreated as a child. Unfortunately, she never learned any new survival skills because her whole family continually rescues her. What's the point in growing as a person if you get constant reinforcement from everyone around you that it's okay? In fact, her whole string of harmful boyfriends are just leftovers from her childhood. Even if she knows on a high level that having a harmful boyfriend is bad, it still feels right because that's what she grew up around. It's the only way she knows how to relate to and interact with men. It was burned into her brain at such a young age, it doesn't matter if her adopted parents were the perfect couple or not, she's been conditioned. You are never going to be capable of fixing her, rescuing her, or getting her to understand what she's doing wrong. You throwing money, time, sweat, and tears into it is just dragging you down with the sinking ship. It's time for you to spend that counseling money on yourself. Specifically, you need to have your counselor coach you out of your codependence. You also need to be coached on how to set boundaries. And comment 2 says, wait, did your husband pass? You've been dealing with your own personal grieving while also trying to take care of her crap? You've done more than enough for her, and now she's disrespecting you by bad-mouthing you. I'd say cut your losses and cut contact. That's so unbelievably unfair. It sounds like you're in therapy, though, so I hope you're taking care of yourself. Best of luck in the future. And OP says, yes, didn't mean to gloss over it, but this was getting long. This mess spans over most of our lives. I've since remarried. And comment 3 says, what will happen with the kids if you cut her off, though? And OP says, no idea. That's the bad part. And there is an update, but oof. Yeah, you've gone through a lot. If you can get the kids out of there. But, I mean, it would be pretty hard legally to do that. But I think, put yourself first. Get yourself what you need. Because she's taken too much.
Yeah, it's just an untenable situation. It's honestly way above my ability to advise anybody on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of, you got to look after yourself first. And it's not like you haven't tried.
Yeah.
But guilt makes us feel funny.
Especially with the kids involved.
And, yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to fully let go. But there is an update. This ended up being a mess. The day after I made this post was her final day to be gone from my house. On that very day, she and her boyfriend had a massive fight. The children ended up in my care temporarily. She wouldn't say what happened, even though it was obvious to everyone involved. The authorities allowed us to move all of her stuff back to my house. I didn't really know what else to do at that point. I won't bore you all with the details because none of them matter now, because there wasn't enough evidence about what happened to my sister. Her boyfriend didn't face serious consequences. She was allowed to take her children back after a few months. One of her children now resides with his father. The father went to court and got custody of him. My nephew has little supervision, and rumor has it that his girlfriend is pregnant. Oof. My oldest niece started acting out because who's going to stop her? She recently had to deal with an unplanned pregnancy and is angry at the world. One of the younger ones has become withdrawn because my sister moved her boyfriend back into my house. Don't let them. It's your house.
Yeah, but then what happens? Then they're just homeless? It's like it's an unwinnable situation.
Soon after his return, one of the children was injured. I evicted them and have officially cut them off because nothing I can do will help her and I can't save my nieces and nephews. My sister became very upset, said I was selfish and abandoning her children all because she made an adult decision to work on a relationship.
Oh, shut up, girl. Shut up.
That's exhausting.
Straight up.
Exhausting.
Stop it.
She's called me terrible names, mostly attacking my race and telling me that I was only successful because of government assistance. Wow. By the way, you can assist us by listening to full episodes of stories just like this, maybe a little bit happier, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio, and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story, but incredibly hypocritical, so there's just not really any point in listening to what she says, because it's coming from a place of, intense self-loathing, and she sees you doing better than her and knows that she's at fault for a lot of the things that have happened in her life, and so she's putting that on you.
Yeah, telling you that you're abandoning her kids.
Yeah, when you've offered her a place
work.
to stay as long as she doesn't invite this terrible man over.
Yeah, when you quite literally have been the only one not abandoning them.
Yeah. Oh, but there is a little bit left to this story. It's ironic because she's on every program she's eligible for. Well, I've never even qualified for them. I did get scholarships for maintaining a 4.0, but I worked full-time through college to make sure everything worked out. And while she can pass for white, she's not actually white. She's just trying to hurt me now, and I can't allow it. She damaged my house significantly before she left. The destruction was extensive. She also left the utilities running to make the bills that were in my name enormous. So I'll give her one thing. She might struggle with everything else, but she's effective at burning bridges. And that's the end of that story. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I think it's just cut her off because you've done everything that you can for these kids and for her, and they, can't help them.
Silver lining is maybe the kids will be really funny because it's
Hopefully,
certainly a
if
very
they get
screwed
out of
up
this.
dynamic. And that
Yeah.
usually makes the funniest people. So maybe they'll be funny.
Maybe.
But
Good luck.
Good luck to the children and to everyone involved
Yeah.
in that story.
That's the end of it, though. And there's one more story, and we're going to get to that in a moment. Yeah, I mean, people are taking advantage of all of your kindness. You gotta, at a certain point, you gotta set boundaries for yourself of what you're willing to, where you're drawing the line. Because otherwise, they just keep taking and taking.
My husband is going crazy over adopting my niece.
He's obsessed.
My husband, Darren, 29 male, and I, 32 female, have been married for nearly 4 years. We have 2 children together, Kara, 6, and Levi, 3. Recently, my husband has been bugging me about having more children, but I had a particularly hard and traumatizing pregnancy and birth with our son, so he's thrown the idea out there that we would adopt in the future. By the way, this comes from user He Knows Other Login, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Now, I'm not opposed to adopting a child. I think it's a wonderful thing for people to undertake, and we're not unfamiliar with adoption as it is, since Darren actually adopted Kara when she was 4 years old. Her biological father is not in the picture. However, recently one of my cousins, Caroline, 19, gave birth to a little baby girl who's 3 weeks old. Caroline is one of these people who really does not have any business having a child. She was diagnosed as mentally disabled, but the family has always had a strong feeling that fetal Alzheimer's syndrome was involved as well.
Yep. So, real quick.
Don't say the actual.
EMR is an outdated and offensive term for a person with a mild form of intellect disability, also known as intellectual development disorder. So, yeah, we can say that.
Diagnosed with intellectual development disorder, but the family has always had a strong feeling that fetal alcohol syndrome was involved as well. Her boyfriend is in a similar boat. Both have disabilities that make caring for a child full-time very difficult. The point being, Caroline is a super sweet girl, and I have no qualms about letting her play with my children when other adults are around, but she really is not suited for parenthood. My husband has recently gotten in his head that we would adopt Caroline's baby. I've only seen the baby once, not from lack of trying, just that Caroline can't drive, and we only have one running car at the moment, which my husband has been taking to work. Not only that, but I feel that Caroline's parents, my uncle and aunt, both in their 50s, would put up a real stink about us wanting the baby. I'm not saying we couldn't care for the baby. We really could. Darren makes plenty of money that I'm able to stay home with our 2 children as it is. Our house is pretty accommodating, and we're in a generally good place. He is of the opinion that Caroline and her boyfriend will be deemed unfit parents, and that the baby will be lost to the system. While I'm not arguing that Caroline isn't the best parent to care for the child, I don't think her parents would let the baby go. I'm about 95% sure that they would take that baby and raise her. But he is adamant that we should adopt the baby so that she stays in the family. The problem is, I know that if we were to take that baby in, it would upset the family, particularly Caroline and her parents. I do not want to cause an uproar in the family over that. Am I wrong here, or am I looking at this from the wrong angle? And there are comments, but yeah, it seems like every single thing that you've thought so far is an assumption.
Well, he's just okay, but I'm just confused why he's assuming that they would even be able to adopt the kid, because presumably it would first. So first he's assuming that the parents would be deemed unfit. We don't know that. And then he's assuming that Caroline's parents wouldn't adopt the baby, and then that you guys would somehow be able to. Like, that's not really how that.
Also, wouldn't Caroline's parents be part of the family?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, why wouldn't they go immediately to the parents? Or why wouldn't the baby go immediately to the parents? I don't understand your husband's logic here. So I feel like Nina Nilsson says, I think this is a non-issue until it happens at all. Yes, exactly. I feel like the question here is, one, do you want to adopt a child? And then let's live in this hypothetical world where we maybe, have the ability to adopt this child. Because right now you don't, that's not an option right now at all.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess it's just like, let's talk about, do we want to adopt a kid? Just as a
really
hypothetical. That's the only question here.
Do we want a third kid?
Yeah.
Do we want to adopt?
Nothing
third
else is
child.
like even on the table yet.
Comments. Number 1. How is your husband envisioning this will go exactly? For you to get this child, your cousin and her husband would both have to lose custody first, which takes considerable time and multiple incidents. The child would go to foster care, likely with family members like the grandparents, who may step in immediately. The system prioritizes keeping children with parents through reunification efforts and support services. For adults with developmental disabilities, having capable relatives in the home often allows families to stay together. Unless parents voluntarily give up their rights, involuntary termination takes significant time. If the grandparents want custody, you'd have to fight them in court, plus potentially the father's family and other relatives. Courts typically favor closer family relatives. Even if you eventually won custody after spending considerable time and money, you'd have a child who experienced trauma, been through the system, and may understand you played a role in separating her from her family. Why fight for a child who already has capable relatives who love her and are closer to her when there are countless children without family support who need homes? You could help your cousin parent successfully right now or support the grandparents in raising the child. If you want to adopt a child with special needs, many are available immediately without creating family conflict. What makes you certain you're the best option? If Caroline loses custody, mention to the grandparents that you'd help if they can't. But right now, you're hoping well-intentioned people will fail at parenting to fulfill your adoption fantasy. People with developmental disabilities can successfully parent with proper support systems.
Real quick, I do wonder if you can have kids or if, the husband, if you guys can't have
they already
kids.
have 2 kids.
They already have 2 kids and they want a third.
But OP can't have a biological kid because of previous birth experience
Okay.
with her son.
So I just want to get the deeper perspective from the husband. That's what I want.
Well, that's the question. It's like, why does he specifically want this kid when they could talk about having, adopting another kid?
Yeah.
Or being like a baller uncle.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense why you would be so insistent about a child that isn't like, even an option right now.
Well, I feel
for
like
you
the
to
obvious answer is that there's, prejudice being levied at the parents
Yeah, absolutely.
for, being disabled.
He's just making so many assumptions.
But yeah, regardless of literally every other element of the story, the fact that it's not just like a conversation of like, do we want to do this? And
Yeah.
instead it's being like, oh, we need to do this. We have to do this.
It doesn't make any sense.
You can't just unilaterally decide to add a child into your family. It needs to be
So you
something
can't
you discuss
unilaterally
with
decide
everybody.
to steal that child from their family.
Like ignoring the fact that you also do not have rights
Yeah.
to just
to
do
this
this
kid.
in the first place. Like, this isn't a one-sided,
No.
I'm saying this, so this is what we should do kind of decision.
Agreed.
Your husband is living in a fantasy. If you want to adopt, start the process with available children or become foster parents now, so you're certified if needed. The only way this works without massive heartache is if both parents voluntarily terminate their rights. Ask them directly. If they refuse, drop it and pursue legitimate adoption channels instead of counting on family failure. OP replies. Caroline, the mother, already lives with her parents, and she's already been told she has to attend parenting classes. Not sure who told her that. Family grapevine and all that. They've been helping her as far as I know, but they can't be there all the time because they both work. And I don't want Caroline to fail. It's just that with past experience with her, I don't think she will get very far simply because of her lack of mental capacity. And you're right, we don't know that FAS was ever in play. It's just always been assumed because Caroline's birth mother was and still is a heavy drinker, even when my uncle was married to her. Main reason for their divorce, if I recall correctly. And I haven't made any mention of her boyfriend's family because, well, I've never met them. I don't know the first thing about any of them. I've only met her boyfriend once, so I don't know what kind of support system he really has.
Exactly. That's the thing. You guys don't know anything.
Personally, I'm not entirely sure I want to adopt a child as it is, which I've told my husband. I would have to do a lot of soul searching before I make that decision. But your post brings home so many points that I've tried bringing up to my husband, and I've just not been able to get the right words out. We have an update.
I think then that should stop the whole thing. Then the whole conversation, I mean, like, you can have the conversation, but you absolutely should not adopt a child if you are not 100%, ready and on board to adopt a child. Let alone a child that, has a lot of different, emotional baggage and also just different
the family
ability.
politics.
Yeah, like there's so much. You already don't want to adopt a child, and to adopt this child it's just like a whole other, thing.
Yeah, and you just show the post to your boyfriend then, to your husband.
Yeah.
And just get to the why. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you feel the need? Why?
Yeah.
Why? And he's going to be like, well, because they can't handle it. And it's like, okay, their parents can handle it. Why does it have to be us? What is this?
Yeah.
Update. We had a crazy Thanksgiving break, but on our 2-hour drive back from his folks' house on Saturday, our children were asleep in the back seat, so it seemed like an appropriate time to talk.
I feel like that's actually a bad time to do that.
The worst time ever is when
your
all of you are
children
locked in a steel box for 2 hours.
And also, I feel like as having been a child before, I pretended to be asleep so many times. Constantly, I was
yeah.
pretending to be asleep.
That's the other thing is your kid's definitely not sleeping.
They're probably awake, listening to
God,
your whole
I hate
conversation.
that more than anything. This happened to me, like getting cornered to have a conversation while driving.
Terrible.
I hate it so
'Cause
much.
Already, whoever's driving can't fully pay attention to that conversation.
And it's just like, ugh.
That's not debatable. You can't fully pay attention to a serious conversation where you have to look at each other. And Riley's rage baiting me.
I'm not
Riley's rage
you.
baiting me.
No, this is my take. I feel like
It's not debatable.
I've had some pretty serious takes on my way to Atlanta and back.
Sure, you can have a serious conversation, but I feel like this is not the type of conversation that you should be having in a car with kids in the backseat.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no. Okay, all right.
It seemed appropriate. I started out discussing plans for my family's Thanksgiving, which was to be at our house the next day. Most of my family would be attending, including Caroline and her parents. Darren mentioned he was excited to see her baby. When I asked why, he surprised me and said he's being a little baby crazy lately. One of his buddies just had a baby, and he got to see it not too long ago. He said he just loves holding babies and everything that goes with having a baby. This conversation eventually led into him asking if we were going to have another baby or adopt one in the near future. I was honest with him that I didn't know if I would be up for adopting a child. I know he had done it before with a step-parent adoption of my daughter, but I didn't know if it was something I would be able to do just yet. I also wasn't pulling another pregnancy off the table either, but I was adamant that I would need to get a medical opinion on whether it would be safe for me to be pregnant again. And only if pregnancy was impossible for me, then I would be more likely to consider adoption. This led us into his desire to adopt Caroline's baby. I asked him what prompted him to even consider it, and he brought it back to being a baby crazy. Our youngest is 3 now and really out of the baby stage, and he missed that. He really thought that offering to adopt Caroline's baby would help Caroline, her boyfriend, and their parents, so they didn't have the stress about caring for the baby. He admitted that after thinking it over more, he realized it was probably a silly idea, but he just wants another child so badly. And by the way, if you really badly want to listen to full episodes of stories just like this, you can do it real easy. Excuse me. All you got to do is do what? What do you got to do, Sophia?
Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio.
That's right, because that's where you're going to find over 72 days worth of stories to listen to.
Just search up OK Storytime.
Well, he was baby crazy. Let's finish this story.
He's baby crazy.
He was baby crazy.
Had a little bit of a momentary glitch in the system.
Babies.
Yeah.
Babies wanted baby.
You want baby.
Could this guy, I don't know, volunteer? I know at my church you can volunteer to help out with kids during the time and
I think that's a
everything
great
like that.
idea.
Would that? Because
I feel like
you know what this vibe is giving me
What?
is whenever people like puppies and they just want a puppy, and then whenever the puppy gets bigger, they're like, oh, I just want a puppy again. Just do puppy yoga.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah,
a puppy
puppy
yoga
yoga's
class.
Also, you can foster puppies and kittens.
Really?
Yeah, my friend fostered kittens. It was great for me
Yeah,
because I got to go over and play with little baby kitties.
That is cute. Wait, can I do
I
that
think this
around
guy
here?
really wants a
Yeah.
baby.
I really want to convince Alex to get a dog, but it is not gonna happen.
You could foster a dog. With the fostering puppies, it obviously is a little bit harder because they're untrained.
Nah, I'll train him.
Well, yeah, you would just have to be training the puppies and stuff.
Yeah, he'll be a good boy.
But it's cute. It's cute.
We should do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, he absolutely could go and volunteer and especially like if he specifically wanted to help kids who had like different, like disabilities and stuff, then he could find programs that help with that.
It's true. I just hope he doesn't fall victim to like the whole, it is kind of a gendered problem when like people like raise their eyebrows way more when a guy is like, I'm obsessed with babies.
Yeah.
I love babies. And they're like, why?
Well, I think this was a little bit, I don't think I have a question of why he wants a baby.
No, he just misses the baby phase.
Yeah.
I'm just
So, real quick, I remember when my dad got really mad. Ryder couldn't, those like things you put on like
Papoose?
here. What's it called?
Papoose?
Yeah,
I think that's what it's called.
My dad's like 6'8", and he'd look like those little giants in video games with like a little guy on the back. And he was so mad whenever Ryder couldn't fit anymore. He's like, oh, my dream's gone now.
Oh, that's cute.
the dream is gone.
That's cute.
So I told my husband that ultimately, if we were to adopt a child, I would want to start that process outside of the family. I also said that if Caroline and her boyfriend were to be deemed unfit parents, then either her parents or his parents would step up. The only way I would reconsider adopting her baby was if one of them approached us about it, and I highly doubt that will happen. But I did tell him that after the new year, I would go see a doctor about possibly having another baby. I said I wasn't sure I was ready for it, but at least talking to a doctor wouldn't hurt, so we could get an idea of how to proceed. If a doctor clears me for a future pregnancy, we'll revisit the topic. Until that point, baby talks have been halted on both sides. There are some comments. Number one, if he's baby crazy enough that he's considered offering to adopt somebody else's baby, that's kind of creepy. See what I'm talking about? Why not look into ways he can volunteer with babies/young children in need? He can find an outlet for these needs of his, and maybe he'll get enough of it out of his system to take the pressure off you and give you 2 times to determine if having a child is in the best interest for your family right now. Comment 2 is, it's kind of odd that y'all are talking about adopting or not adopting her baby when that's not even on the table. What if some other couple were trying to decide whether or not to adopt your kid, while that's not something you'd ever consider as an option? And that's the end of that story.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, I feel like OP wasn't the one who was considering that. She was trying to figure out why her husband was thinking about it. And she talked him down. She figured it out. So I'm glad you guys figured it out and had a conversation and are on the same page now.
Yeah. Babies.
Good job. Babies.
Babies.
But that's the end of that story.
That is the end of that story and the end of that episode.
Indeed it is. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.